Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This Shabbos is a very special Shabbos, Shabbos Chazoin, Shabbat of the Vision. The reason why we have this name of this part of this Shabbos is this coming week we have one of the most challenging days in Judaism, the 9th of Av. There was reports in J-Post last week that Iran may want to choose the day of the 9th of Av to create additional psychological terror, as the day of 9th of Av was a day of destruction. It was a day in which the first temple was destroyed, the second temple was destroyed. Many calamities over history have happened on the 9th of Av. And it's a challenging day. It's a day of fasting for the Jewish people. It's a day in which we mourn the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, the loss of our sovereignty to the Jewish people multiple times, the fall of the Bar Kokhba revolt in Beitar, most recently the Amiya bombing at the end of the 9th of Av. And throughout history, the gas chambers were opened on the 9th of Av, and the Jews were expelled from England on the 9th of Av. It's been a day of sadness. Nevertheless, within every single day of sadness comes a tremendous potentiality of joy. And so this Shabbos is the Shabbos of the vision. What are we visioning? Our souls. As Shabbos has the energy of the additional soul, it's visioning the future and holy temple. And the Rabbi Yitzchak Berditchev would always give the example of a king or a father who loves his child very much and wants to give him a gift, and he gives him a beautiful suit. But this child doesn't know how to handle the suit, so he goes out and plays with his friends, and the suit gets destroyed. Father loves his child, gives him a second chance, second thing over again, gives him a suit, goes out, plays with the kids, comes back torn up. So the father loves his child very much, but realizes that his child is not yet ready for this beautiful suit. And so he gives him his suit, but this time he puts it into a closet. And he says, every single year you're going to look at this closet and look at this beautiful suit. And when you're ready, I'm going to give it to you. And this is what it says happens to us on this Shabbat. God gave us the first temple, and we didn't deserve it. After 400 years of sovereignty of the Jewish people, we were murderers and thieves and adulterers, and God took it away from us. The second, with the Babylonian exile. The second, the temple was destroyed because of senseless hatred, of killing each other. And again, the Romans came and found that weakness inside of us. But God says, on this Shabbat, every single year, I show you the third and holy temple. And so this year especially, with everything going on in the world, the concept of redemption, the concept of a time of peace and security, which is really what the Messianic era represents, is something that's so critical and pertinent. And so when we see this, we get this vision on this Shabbat, it makes us subconsciously want to work towards something. Just like we have an idea in our head of a goal that we want to create, and we vision this goal, and so we work towards a goal, so too, that's what happens on this Shabbat. There's another very interesting thing. This Shabbat begins the book of Deuteronomy, and the book of Devarim is a repetition of the story of Moses. But one of the things that happens in this week's Torah portion is that Moses goes out together with the Jewish people, and they conquer land after land. And each one, God says, I'm going to hand them into your victory. But then when it comes, in today's reading actually, in today's Aliyah, what it says, Vayemer Hashem Elai al tira Isai, do not be afraid of him, about Og Melech HaBasham. God doesn't say that about the previous enemy, or any of the previous enemies, do not be afraid. Only by Og does it say, do not be afraid of him. Why does God have to preempt and tell Moses not to be afraid of him? And so it's very interesting. If you look at Rashi says, do not be afraid. Why? Al tira Isai. Sichon, it didn't say that, Al tira Isai. But over here, Moshe was afraid he shouldn't stand on the merit that he helped Avram. That says, Vayemer hapalit hu Og. What is this story? The story is the story of Og going to tell Abraham about Lot being captured. And to tell Abraham he needs to go into the war against the kings. And Moshe was afraid that this merit of this mitzvah of him going to help out Lot and Abraham would save, he would give him some merit, and that would save them and hurt Moses' ability to be able to be victorious. Therefore, God says, do not be afraid of this merit that he has. It's very interesting. If you look back at this story of Lot, going back to the book of Genesis, we'll find that Og didn't do this out of the goodness of his heart, but it says specifically, it's one places that it talks about what he was thinking. It says that Og was thinking that he's going to send Abraham into this war, and Abraham would get killed, and he would take Sarah for his wife, who was one of the most beautiful women around. And so Og's whole reasoning for his merit was for a negative idea, was that Abraham should get killed. Nevertheless, Moses was afraid of this merit, even with a bad intention, but a good merit. And the answer is yes. That is the power of a mitzvah. The power of a mitzvah, even when we do a mitzvah, it's not for the right intentions, and we don't do it for the right reasons. But the fact that we did a mitzvah and we saved something, we saved someone, even if we had ulterior motives, that itself is enough in order to give us a tremendous merit. And so, as we go into the Shabbos of the vision, the Shabbos of the month of Av, it's a Shabbos which we need to add into more mitzvot. And even if we don't have the proper intentions, let's add something into our daily life. Let's add a mitzvah into our life. And maybe that will give us the merit. Maybe that will be the thing that will help us turn this vision, the Shabbat of vision, into a reality, a time in which we'll have peace and security in the land of Israel, where we won't have any fear of being attacked by all the enemies surrounding us, a time in which we'll have the rebuilding of the holy Beit HaMikdash already before this Tisha B'Av. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and we'll see you tonight at 7:30.